guys ready?
Nope.
This is Lieutenant Joel Vettel. Captain Joel Vettel.
Don't give me any more rank than I need.
All right, Joel.
All right. At approximately 4:15 this afternoon, officers were called to what was called in as a disturbance and possibly gunshots fired here at the West Acres 14 Cinema. When officers arrived, they found two individuals that had injuries at that point. The officers at that point then determined at least one of them appeared to have gunshot wounds, and the other one, they were unsure as far as the nature of his injuries. Both of those individuals were transported to the hospital due to their injuries, and currently conditions of both of them are unknown. Again, at this point, we believe we have at least one suspect and a person of interest in custody at this point for this incident here. That person, again, was located in the Horace, North Dakota area by Cass County deputies assisted by West Fargo Police Department. He was, again, taken into custody and is being held in to determine his involvement in this incident.
Do you think there's more players involved in the possible four?
With this investigation, we're fairly confident that there's no imminent danger to the public. That we don't have anybody else that we're concerned about as far as any imminent danger to anybody in the community. So it's an active investigation. We're still very recent into it. We have investigators working hard to determine what exactly happened. Obviously, with a very chaotic scene with the number of people that were in the general area, very full movie theater, parking lot, and again, we have at least one of the bullets that did enter into the facility, the movie theater. We are confident nobody else was harmed by that round. So again, anytime a firearm is fired in a community and an urban setting, there's always that risk, especially from bullets. Somebody that wasn't part of the incident being a victim.
So this incident started elsewhere and ended up in the theater, or was it?
We feel that the incident was contained to the parking lot area of the theater. We feel that it started here and ultimately the violence ended here. And again, the suspect in that case was located in another area in Horace, North Dakota. So obviously he fled the scene at that time.
You got a wide area, according to where do you think things started unfolding and where did they?
Again, we often, with this process, we're piecing together a number of different things between eyewitness testimony, also physical evidence here at the scene. We'll have our CSIs out here taking and determining exactly what happened, but involving the eyewitnesses, it certainly seems like at least the crime scene where we have broken down in here, we've created a wider area than we probably have a crime scene in, but we just wanted to make sure we encompassed every possible area where evidence might be involved.
Do we know how many shots were fired?
We have currently right now confirmed at least two shots were fired, but again, number of shots is certainly something we'll determine through the process of the investigation, but I can confirm at least two shots were fired.
What caliber gun, Joel?
At this point, we're not going to release the caliber gun, one, because we're not sure. We want to make sure we're confident that we have the weapon that was involved in the incident. So,
handgun?
Yep, a handgun was involved in this incident.
Were the victims in a vehicle in the theater or in front of the theater?
It appears that the whole incident took place in front of the theater area, in the parking lot of the theater area. So
were the victims in a car then?
At least there was, again, currently right now we have at least two vehicles that are part of this scene that will be processing what part of that, as far as what happened exactly in those cars, we don't know. That's part of the process of the investigation, but at least two cars will be part of the investigation at this point.
Do you know if all the players know each other, Joel?
We don't feel, well, we're very confident that all players knew each other, that there was a relationship between the victims and the suspect.
You know, some of the residents we're talking to are saying, we've never seen anything like this happen in Fargo. What do you want the citizens to know so that they're not worried? Well,
obviously, this is we consider a very specific incident involving people that knew each other. Was not an act of random violence that people are concerned. We have no concerns that this is something that's going to spill out any more into the public. We feel we have the individual in custody that was involved in this, and again, we just want to ensure that the public knows that we're doing everything to make sure this investigation goes correctly, and we also want to make sure they understand that this community is still safe. This is a very specific act of violence from one person that knew another one, that it is not a random act of violence.
Is there some indication, Joel, this woman was being stalked, or?
There's no indication that there was any, other than there was a relationship between all players, between the victim and the suspect, and the relationship of that will, obviously will determine through the investigation. But again, it's certainly anytime you have an incident like this, it can be alarming to the public. We want just to ensure that the public knows that we're doing everything we can to make sure that we make this investigation go as smoothly as possible. We also want to ensure that they understand that this was a very specific act of violence. It does not appear to be a random act of violence in our community. And again, anytime a firearm is used in this type of violence, it's obviously going to be a concern to the community. We're confident that we have the suspect in custody at this point.
Was the handgun recovered?
We have the handgun. We have a handgun in custody at this point, and we're doing the process to determine whether it was the one involved in this incident.
I know you don't know, but do you know if any of the injuries are?
I do not know the nature of the injuries. I know that at least one of the injuries was a gunshot wound, and so anytime there's a gunshot wound, we certainly have to be concerned for the overall well-being of an individual. A lot of trauma involved in any type of gunshot wound, and we never want to comment on those types of incidents because, again, we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen through the process. Anytime there's a gunshot wound, it's always serious.
Do you know if he was shot, just listening to bystander chatter, they thought a couple times, do you know if he was shot more than once?
I can confirm that we have at least two shots fired. I can't comment on the nature of his injuries other than it appears that he had a gunshot wound. I don't know how many. Again, we're a lot of stuff happening in the last hour and a half, and it'll continue to happen over the next several hours. Officers, we have a number of investigators working on this investigation, along with cooperation of both West Fargo and Cass County Sheriff's Department. Again, we're very confident that we've done everything we can to make sure this is going well for everyone, and making sure that we can be very confident to tell the public that things are safe right now, and we're not concerned with the overall safety of our community at this point.
Are you able to release the names of the victims or of the suspect?
None at this point. We do have somebody that is again in custody, being detained for the investigation process. Chances are we will be able to release that information in fairly short order once he is arrested officially, and we will do so as soon as possible. As far as the victims, that information will probably be withheld, determining what the nature of their injuries is. And again, we'll always follow what we need to as far as victims, but again, we should have some information on the suspect's name in a fairly reasonable amount of time.
Do you know where the victims were taken?
I believe both victims were taken to Essentia Hill Hospital. But
the gunshot wound victim, Joel, do you know where he was hit? Torso? Or?
From what I understand, there was, again, I don't know specifics as far as the number of shots to him, but I know that there was at least one shot to his torso area. And again, I don't know the number of rounds at this point. And again, we'll have to take and see through this process, again, through the investigation process, how many shots were fired total, how many shots he was struck with. If there was other, again, we already know at least one of the bullets entered into the theater area. And again, it's one of those processes that it's going to take some time to conclude exactly what happened here today.
Do you know where that bullet ended up, and did it come close to anybody?
We don't know that it is how close it came to individuals, but anytime a bullet enters a structure, there's always a risk of somebody being harmed. And when you take into account it's a crowded movie theater, that's an extremely dangerous situation. So So again, it's one of those things that doesn't appear that the location had anything to do with the incident. It appears that these two people, or the individuals involved in the incident, met at this location, and that's the violence took place against people that all knew each other. And it appears that, again, it could have happened anywhere. It just so happened that it happened in this location. The location has nothing to do with the incident itself.
Okay, the victims, both male, female?
We have at least, we have at least one. We have two males that are the victims in this case at this point, and at least one male that's in custody.
Did he receive any type of injuries, the one in custody?
I do not know the nature of his condition. I know that he was not transported at this point, to my knowledge, to the hospital. So I'm assuming his condition is if he does have any injuries, they're minor enough where they did not need to be treated at a medical facility.
Was he pulled over, Joel, out by Horace? Or
it appears that he was located by a Cass County deputy in the process of, through the investigation, we released information on the vehicle that we believe the suspect was in and traveling in. Through that process of releasing that information, and that's the key. We quickly got that out to area law enforcement. They did their due diligence, were able to locate the vehicle out in the Horace area. They were able to determine and get it stopped, and at that point, the person was taken into custody. So, again, excellent work by our law enforcement, local law enforcement, both Fargo Police Department, also West Fargo Police Department and Cass County Sheriff's Department, all working in tandem to try to get this resolved as quickly as possible for the citizens of Fargo and citizens of Cass County. And again, we're glad that we can resolve these things so quickly because, like I said, we just want to ensure to the public that it is safe. We want to make sure people understand that just because you have a very busy location in the city of Fargo, it does not to diminish the safety in that community or in our community or in the specific location at all.
Based on casings and stuff, do you believe there was only one gun involved?
At this point, we're not ruling out the possibility of more than one firearm. As I stated earlier, we do have at least one gun in our possession. We are working diligently to determine if that was the gun that was used in the shooting, and also determine if there's any other firearms involved in this incident. So,
was that hand found with the suspect?
The handgun was found and seized, and again, as part of the investigation, I released where it was found at.
How much time was there between the actual incident when you got to Horace?
We were called at approximately 4:17. Officers arrived within 3 minutes. It appears when he was. I believe we had the individual within an hour. So again, it went very quickly. It was a very rapidly moving scene. Again, officers did an excellent job securing the perimeter, getting people to safety, and to make sure that nobody else is going to get hurt through the process. Anytime we have somebody that we feel has just harmed somebody, has fled the scene, there's always the risk of that's why we did our due diligence to make sure that was our number one priority, to get this person into custody, to make sure the determination is that if there's any other possibility that violence was going to continue, we're going to take a stop as quickly as possible.
How many eyewitnesses, I know you get the person of interest, but how many eyewitnesses that you guys will be questioning that you know of at this point?
We have a number of individuals that we're talking to. It appears that the witnesses have a variety of levels of information to the case. As we do with many of our cases, we have to sort through that investigation process to determine what exactly happened. But yeah, there is a number of people that witnessed different stages of the incident, and so we need to sort through that. And again, that's why these incidents, we take them extremely serious. We pull out all of our resources to make sure that we can resolve the situation as quickly as possible. As you saw, we had a number of people already within minutes to try to resolve this as quickly as possible. We gather the information. We also take and call for assistance from other agencies. As we did with this case, the word went out. As we do with any of these types of cases, we want to make sure that we get the information out as quickly as possible so that we're able to take and try to catch this individual. It would have been probably, if we wouldn't have been so rapidly on this individual as far as who he was and in the vehicle, that information, if we wouldn't have been able to catch them so quickly, obviously we would release that to the media, to you guys, as we've done in other instances, to get that information out to the public so we can catch them. And again, that's always our number one priority, to make sure if we have a situation that we still don't feel is resolved and safety is still an issue, that's our number one priority. Number two is the investigation of the incident, and we're never going to mix those two up because the safety of the public is always number one in our department.
Well, just to be sure, this is not gang-related, it's more of what, like a lover's spat or something like that?
It appears that those individuals who had a relationship that was not gang-related, it was apparently a personal relationship. And again, that speaks to the volume that we do not have those random acts of violence in our community. We have incidents like this that are unfortunate, but it also speaks to the fact that we are able to resolve them so quickly and so rapidly that, again, we feel that our community is as safe today as it was 2 hours ago and 3 hours ago. So we're very confident that everything is going to be fine, and we're very confident we have the people that we need in custody for the incident.
Thanks, John.